I've played a lot of action gacha games, turn-based gacha games, strategy, tactical, tower defense gacha games, but some stand out more than others. What I want to do today is take a minute here and rank every single action combat gacha game from UR to end best to worst. That way, you know which gacha games to play and which gacha games to avoid. Now, I have not played every single action gacha game out there. There are ones that I'm missing, such as Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, Dragon Ball Legends, like all of the Dragon Ball games. There is also not going to be any gacha games that are upcoming. This means no Ananta, no Azure Permelia, no Never to Sueverdus, no Sewer Palace, no Rewinding Cadence. This is to make it fair because while I've played beta tests for literally all of them, these games change over time. The games that I'm listing right here are games that are already fully released. Now let's go ahead and jump right in. Hopefully you can find something that you like, or if you agree with them or disagree with them, let me know down in the comment section below. The games listed for anyone interested are the 7 Deadly Sins Origin, Action Taimanin, Aether Gazer, Arknights Endfield, Bleach Soul Resonance, Crystal of Atlan, Devil May Cry Peak of Combat, Duet Night Abyss, Genshin Impact, Guardian Tales, Honkai Impact 3rd, Ni no Kuni Crossworlds, Punishing Grey Raven, Snowbreak, Solo Leveling Arise, Stella Sora, Tower of Fantasy, Wuthering Waves, and Zenless Zone Zero. These are the games that I recall off the top of my head. I took about 10 minutes here and tried to remember every single one that I played. I also Googled around a little bit. I may have missed a couple of them, but at the end of the day, these are the ones that I recall and the ones that are most important. Let's start this off with the 7 Deadly Sins Origin. This game actually just released. It is completely open world. I think the combat is decent, the graphics are decent, the world itself is decent. I love the co-op because they sync the story, which means that everyone that participates, if they start at the same point in the story, can progress together. They can get all the rewards, they can open every chest, participate in every activity, completely synced. But overall, I would put this in the SR tier. Action Taimanin is an instance gacha game. Character models look very dated, admittedly. The whole game feels very dated. It is incredibly gooner, but the Taimanin squad gacha game that just released looks a lot better, but honestly, I'm not that big a fan of it. I'd put it in the R tier. Aether Gazer looks good. The character models look fantastic. The world itself looks pretty good. The story is okay. The combat itself is actually very good. I'd say it's one of the better action combat systems in Gacha. The ability to have 3 characters all on field at the same time is also incredibly useful. I'd put this definitely in the SSR tier. Arknights Endfield, beautiful game, good story, beautiful world, good combat. I genuinely love the majority of Arknights Endfield. Not all of it. It does have its flaws and problems. I put this in the SSR tier as well. Bleach Soul Resonance, the story is okay. The graphics are not great. The character models look okay. The combat is okay. It felt very clunky when I played it. I'd put this in the R tier. Crystal of Atlan, MMO, semi-open world, decent looking graphics, decent combat. I'd also put this in the R tier. It's actually, while it looks okay and plays okay, it's really not a very good game. Devil May Cry Peak of Combat is the worst gacha game, action gacha game I've ever played. Seriously, this is for something that carries the Devil May Cry name. That is an absolute abomination of a game, and I would not advise anyone play it ever. Duet Night Abyss is semi-open world, fun action combat, good character models, decent story that gets progressively better. Honestly, a good game, a fun game, but at the same time, it's had so many issues. I cannot put it any higher than SR. Genshin Impact, I think despite the ardent defenders and then the ardent haters, I'm pretty neutral about the game. I think that graphically, the character models for like the first several major patches all look very dated now, along with the earlier zones, but the newer zones and the newer characters all look very, very good. So we're basing this off of current content, not, you know, original content. I'd say that the combat for characters is very good. The world itself is beautiful. The characters themselves look fantastic. Easily SSR tier. But at the end of the day, it still feels more limiting than some other action games. Guardian Tales is one of my favorite gacha games, like top 10 by far. It is comical. It is humorous. It is fun. There is so much to do. It is an instanced world, but there are so many like variant routes that you can take. And that opens up additional smaller little worlds that you can explore. It's just very, very fun. The action combat is also very, very good. It's like an old school Zelda JRPG that's been converted into a gacha game. With this in mind, I definitely put this in the UR tier. It's just, there is not a single other gacha game out there like Guardian Tales. Honkai Impact, Instance World, good action combat, very good action combat actually, very good looking character models. It does feel a little bit dated, especially when compared to other games like Honkai Star Rail or Zenless Zone Zero, but it's still a very good game. I'd put this probably in the SR tier category, but that's mainly because there is so much content that it gets a little bit overwhelming. So overwhelming, in fact, that I just couldn't really progress through it more than like a couple dozen hours without forcing myself to quit. Ni no Kuni Cross Worlds. This was actually not a bad game when I played it a couple years ago. I went back recently and it's like an NFT trash, or when I last went back to it, I think it was like at some point last year, was NFT trash. I can't believe that they completely ruined that game. Easy end tier. Yo, I don't mean to interrupt the video, but I need to take a moment here to thank all my incredible patrons over on Patreon whose support continues to allow for me to do regular videos like this every single day on this channel. Thank y'all so much, including our YouTube channel members. You guys mean the world to me. So do you guys as viewers as well. Now, without further ado, let's continue. Punishing Grey Raven. Some people argue is the best action combat in the genre. Beautiful, like absolutely stunning character models. It is an instance world. The action combat is insane, like mind-blowingly good. The story is decent. There are, you know, high and low points like a lot of gacha games, but there are, I think, a couple gacha games out there that have better action combat. I would definitely put this in the SSR tier. If there was an SSR plus tier, it would definitely be there. Snowbreak is a third-person action shooter. It is a very lewd, very gooner gacha game that's more now like gooner content than it is gameplay oriented. But I mean, I've had fun every time I've played it, and I would probably put it in the SR tier just purely because the gameplay still like lacks comparatively to its competitors here in this specific category. Solo Leveling Arise, also instanced, decent action combat, decent looking character models, decent story. Honestly, when I played it, I had some fun. I think it's a perfectly competent and capable game, but I would put it in the SR tier because while a decent game, it still just didn't really ever stand out to me. Stella Sora is an instanced roguelike. It has good looking character models, actually pretty good looking action combat. It's a very fun game. I'd put this in the SR tier as well. If there was an SR plus or an SSR minus, I'd probably put it there, but this is honestly a pretty decent game. Tower of Fantasy is an open world MMO. This game released after Genshin Impact, but actually looks worse than Genshin Impact. The combat is one of the weakest elements of the game. I think it's probably the worst part of it, and that's saying something because the character designs are honestly quite bad. I would put this in the R tier when compared to the competition, the combat specifically of the competition. Wuthering Waves is, in my opinion, the best action gacha game. It just is. Has the best action combat. Some of, if not the best character models in the genre. The best open world, or one of at least the best open worlds. Good story, good voice acting, and continues to push out quality after quality character. Zenless Zone Zero, I would say, is the second or third best action gacha game. Also, equally or almost as good combat as Wuthering Waves. Also, probably top 2, top 3 best looking character models in the action gacha genre. Good story, good voice acting, also very gooner. And there we have it, my list of the top, the best, at the bottom, worst action gacha games available right now. You might not agree with it. That's totally fine. Everyone is allowed to have their own opinion. I'm not trying to force this onto you. I'm not saying these games are objectively the best or worst. There is no way of ranking objectively. Every ranking individual is purely subjective. My list, your list, etc., etc. Regardless, there are really only 2 terrible games in this list, and that is Devil May Cry Peak of Combat and Ni no Kuni Cross Worlds. These are the 2 action gacha games I would advise everyone avoid. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment, so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you're not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.